Hey guys, it's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm doing a chop and chat today. I'm kind of going to get right into it because I do have this loaf I'm starting with and I just took it out of the microwave, so it's a little bit warm still. It is Rose Girl's Love You a Latte. Such a good one, but it is one of my older coffee loaves, so I want to get to chopping it. I don't know how much you'll be able to see because I don't know. I don't have a very good angle. I'm at my table today. I usually don't chop at my table. I don't have a ton to chop today. Ooh, maybe I should have heated this up longer. I only did like 20 seconds on each side, and I realized I have this feature on my microwave that's called soften/melt, and so I've been using that recently. I don't know if it like makes a true difference, but I've been using that for all my wax things. Okay, so like I said, I don't have a ton to chop, but I do have some questions, and so I wrote them all down so I don't lose sight of them, but I am just going to get straight into it. I was originally planning on doing a live at the end of every month for like my chop and chat, but just with Gemma, I mean, I don't know how she's gonna do it in this video, but just in case she gets really wild, I can, you know, like stop. Versus like a live, I might be like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. So the first question is asking who I guess are my top 3 vendors. And I mean, I'm excluding Scentsy because obviously Scentsy, I sell Scentsy, so that's kind of a given. If I didn't love the product, I would not be an independent Scentsy consultant. So obviously them, and I feel like I wouldn't consider Walmart a favorite, but I'm excluding Walmart as well because I don't really feel like they're really so accessible. I don't know, but they're also not a favorite. So I would say my top 3 are probably Rose Girls. Probably Rose Girls being number 1, honestly. I really do love Rose Girls. I'm chopping their loaf right now, and I feel like Rose Girls is my favorite over number 2, which is the Melted Mousse, because I feel like Rose Girls is a little bit more accessible. I do really love the Melted Mousse, and I love Jackie, and she's literally like the sweetest thing, and takes such good care of her customers. But Melted Mousse has become a little bit hard to get your hands on. This is like a perfect half of a mini melter. It's so funny. They definitely have become very much, I don't want to say in demand, but definitely people are trying a lot harder to get their hands on the Melted Mousse. And Jackie is a one-person show, so it's definitely really hard. I know there's just a lot of demand for that wax and not as much of it, you know. It just like it sells out really fast. The restarts aren't as big just because Jackie does it by herself, but she is definitely still my number 2 vendor. I absolutely love the Melted Mousse. I will say one of my favorite things about Rose Girls though is mini melters and the ease of mini melters. So a lot of other companies, oh gosh, I hope I don't make a super big mess. A lot of other companies do like souffles and all these things that you have to chop, which I do love chopping, and that's so I will continue to purchase these things, but I do love the ease of mini melters. Even so, my 3rd vendor is L3, and even L3 does like puppy packs, which are like smaller bits of wax, but generally for me, I have to still chop some of my puppy pack shapes. I don't love how like large they are. This is like a really big hunk. I'm probably going to cut this into 4ths, honestly, because that's a really big chunk of wax. So my top 3, Rose Girls being number 1, Melted Mousse being number 2, and then L3 being number 3. The easiest place to get a hold of all of the info for those vendors is on their Facebook pages. So I couldn't tell you when the next restock of any of them are. Rose Girls just had one, so maybe they have some things still available. And so did L3 actually. And actually the Melted Mousse maybe has one coming up. Maybe someday soon, or maybe it just happened. But definitely check out the Facebook page. It's the easiest way to keep up with them. I don't always know when things are going on. The next question is a loaded one. It's my favorite scent of all time. So I wanted to answer this in, I guess, kind of like a couple ways. My favorite like scent, oh my gosh, category of all time is definitely 100% like if you were like, oh, what kind of scent should I get for Ashley? 100% every time, vanilla bakery. Like that is definitely 100% always going to be my go-to, is like a vanilla or bakery based scent. But if I only had to pick one like specific scent, I didn't want to like think about this too hard because there's so much out there. But if I like just went with my gut feeling right away, I would probably say Boardwalk Marshmallow Clouds, which thankfully a lot of vendors duplicate because you can no longer get it from Bath & Body Works. But a lot of vendors kind of duplicate that scent, and it is sort of like vanilla perfumey based in a way. So I guess it's still kind of like in my category, you know, of vanilla bakery, I guess you could call it, but it's probably like, there was a moment there when every single L3 order I was making, which was like every 2 weeks because she generally restocks every 2 weeks, I was ordering like a loaf or a loaf of something with BMC in it. I was just like obsessed. And I will say the first BMC I did try is from the Melted Mousse. So I can't give credit, or I have to give credit, I guess, to Jackie because I did try the Melted Mousse BMC first, and it totally made me fall head over heels for Boardwalk Marshmallow Clouds. If you have not tried that scent yet and you're like, what are you talking about? It's like heaven. It's like slightly perfumey, but these are really like not staying together very well. I don't know if it's how they were poured, but they're really chunking apart, which is okay, I guess, for this purpose of this video. It's like a vanilla based marshmallow and magnolia, but don't get scared, it's not like a floral scent. It's a very, very pretty, I just find it very calming. I like to do it in my bedroom. So I highly recommend trying it. If you can get your hands on it, check L3. That's probably the first place I would go. Or your favorite vendor, but I would check L3. All these things written down. Sorry if I'm shaking the camera too. I don't have a very good setup today, but just with Gemma, I didn't want to like be too far away in case anything happened. I think she's sleeping though, like a good girl. The next one is who do I watch on YouTube? And I actually brought in my iPad so I could give you guys a little rundown. I'm probably not going to go through every single person I'm subscribed to, but I'll let you know some of my favorites. And they're kind of in alphabetical order just by default of YouTube. So I like to watch Alexis, I think the last name Schluter, I could be wrong, but fairly popular like home fragrance type of YouTuber. But Alexis talks a little bit, maybe not as much anymore, but if you go back a little bit on the channel about like trying to reduce your stash, which of course is always on my mind. So I like checking in with those videos, and then a lot of like Bath & Body Works home fragrance content as well. I follow Amy Scents and Songs, Amy Jackson, gosh, Amy, I'm so sorry if that's not correct, but I also follow Amy on Instagram and whatnot, but a fellow Scentsy consultant. I follow a lot of Scentsy consultants, I'll be honest, so sorry, but that's who I follow. Beth, I absolutely love Beth. She's one of my good friends here on YouTube. Carrie, Carson, Karen Rosa, Casey. Love Casey's videos. I don't know if you guys can go to my profile and like see my subscriptions. That might be a thing. That also might not be a thing. But Casey, another Scentsy consultant. Charity has this cool series going on the channel right now about like good, it's called The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and Charity's going through like the favorite vendors of theirs and, you know, kind of telling you the good, the bad, the ugly about these vendors. So if that's something you're interested in, I think they're doing their top 10 vendors, I want to say. So I'm just kind of gathering this in a little, sorry, that's blocking the camera, but I just have a little thing. I saw Etta do this on her recent Chop and Chat, and I was like, oh, that's such a good idea. She's just like, I'm gonna collect all of my debris, if you want to call it that, in this little tray. And I'm gonna get rid of this plate. Okay, so charity. I follow a couple of like people who are Scentsy consultants who do like training type of style videos, so I like to follow them. But like Danny, Etta, For the Love of Scents, which is Wax Melt's BFF, Angela on Instagram, Hannah Blazon, hi, it's Vicky. Vicky does home fragrance and Bath and Body Works and a little bit of makeup, so a really good mix on Vicky's channel. Ilza, so funny. I love listening to Ilza. Like, not that she's like a comedian, but I just, her commentary makes me chuckle, so I love it. Who else do I follow? Some of these I don't like. I subscribe, but they don't really post very often. Krista does a mix of home fragrance and planning, and so does Ilza. So if you're into planning, they do a little bit of both of that. Crystal lives in Canada. It's Crystal with a K. Her channel name's Crystal V, KRYSTALV. I really enjoy just like her take on scents. Laura Whitfield, Lisa Roberry, Lori Brown. Like, all the classics. Mr. Kong's mom. I follow Mrs. Smith 88, and she talks a lot about candles kind of specifically, so if you're into candles, that's a really good one. Patricia, Ramona, yeah, Self-Care Catherine. She kind of talks about body care, hygiene, smelling good. She just graduated or is about to graduate grad school, so she talks about that a little bit. So Shannon Hill, yeah, kind of Susan Fitzpatrick. Her channel name's Suzanne's Scented World. She used to be under a different name, but I absolutely love her channel as well. She also has such a good like nose for scents. But yeah, Two Quick Wicks. Can't believe you're at the bottom because alphabetical order. Two Quick Wicks. This is Lexi. She is another really, really good friend here on YouTube. And then I do believe another one I like to follow. I do believe her name's Rachel. She goes under Yellow Brick Expat, but I do believe her first name is Rachel. She talks a lot about like Bath and Body Works Project Use It Up, home fragrance, all that jazz. So those are just kind of an overview. Honestly, I watch a ton of people that I'm not subscribed to as well. Like if it just pops up in my suggested feed. Also, I am done with this loaf. So I watch a lot of, or how I watch my YouTube as well is I do a lot of just like adding to my watch later queue, and then I just watch stuff from there. So I don't like scroll through my subscriptions list and like click on videos. I add everything to my watch later. So I don't really, not that I don't have to subscribe to people, but like if you tend to watch people, they pop up in your homepage quite frequently. And so those people, I just, I add them to my watch later and I watch them that way. So I have a bunch of these Rose Girl samplers that I want to shop. And these might shake the camera quite a bit because they might be a little bit hard because Rose Girls is a little bit of a harder wax sometimes. That's why I heated up that loaf. Okay. Did you guys shop the Rose Girls RTS the other day? They had a lot of these like Ghoul Friends. I picked myself up some Ghoul Friends. Okay. So that was kind of a loaded question. Sorry, it probably took a lot of time. But this is so cute. Favorite TV shows this year. I don't know if this is gonna come as a shock to some of you, but I don't really watch TV. We just have like Hulu, and I don't even really watch like series. So I honestly couldn't even tell you like new or current TV shows on because I really don't watch TV. So, sorry. We wanted to start some series on Hulu. It was about, I think, about the opioid crisis. It was kind of like based on, but it's not, you know, it's not like a real like documentary type of series. I think it's like a series based on the opioid crisis. So we might still watch that, but we haven't started it yet. I like, if we do a series, generally Corey and I will like try and do it together. He's watching like, I should have brought a water. He's watching like a football one right now, so I know a little bit about it because we kind of started it during quarantine, but he's continued on with it and he's been working from home, so he has a little bit more like flexibility, you know, like to watch on his lunch break and stuff versus like you know, he'd be through the whole series before I even got caught up. So he's kind of doing that one on his own, and I'm not like as committed to it as he is. This is all the Halloween sampler from Rose Girls. I don't even know if I said that. I don't know if I just said samples. Oh gosh, I didn't even think about this one, but the next question's favorite dessert. And I'm pretty sure they said if you like desserts. At first, like a couple years ago, I'd be like, what do you mean if I like desserts? Because like I am such a dessert person, but like Corey is not a dessert person. So I totally understand why you said if you like them. I don't know if this was in the restock, but Cider Lane and Carbs, so good. Love it, absolutely love it. I am 100% a dessert person, and I just kind of like grew up that way. Like we always had something sweet after dinner, and so probably my favorite dessert, I'm gonna pick a couple because honestly, like I'm such a dessert person. I'm not like a foodie, I wouldn't say, but I love specifically desserts and like baking, like more baking than like cooking, if that makes sense. Sorry. So I was going to say, if I had to pick one, better than sex cake, because I haven't had that in a long time, but that is so good. Like I absolutely love that. And it's like, I know people call it different things, but it's like the chocolate cake. I just have chocolate chips in it. I don't know, but it has like that caramel like throughout it. So good. I absolutely love like an angel, like a Jello cake. That is also so good. Absolutely love it. What else? Oh, I was gonna say 7-layer bars, and I don't know if that's just because recently I've been totally craving a 7-layer bar. Like, I should have made some because I should get the ingredients, to be honest, because I've been craving them so bad. I don't know why. And also probably one of my favorites, my mom makes these things that we called caramel bars growing up. She still makes them. I don't know if they have like a real official name. I feel like I've heard people call them other things, like, gosh, I don't even know what they call them. I remember like if I would bring them in when I would make them, I'd be like, oh, I brought caramel bars, and they're like, oh, you brought X, like whatever they're officially called, but we just call them caramel bars. They're really, really simple to make, but they're so good. They're basically a lot of caramel, like a whole bag of like the caramels you unwrap, or like the caramel bits, and then but they have like oatmeal in them, and they have like chocolate chips. They're not like anything fancy, but they're just so delicious, and like you heat them up and they're so good. But I could go on like forever about desserts because like I said, I'm a total dessert person, and like holiday baking is one of my favorite things, just because like I love the process of making it all, but also then like eating it and during the process, you know, like taste testing everything just to make sure it's okay. So let me know your guys' favorite dessert down below, and maybe like link me a recipe if you can, because this winter and fall, like I doubt we'll hardly be going anywhere. We'll probably be doing a lot of staying at home, and I would love to bake. Do I have any pets? So if you have missed it, I did an announcement video on my YouTube the other day. I probably last week by the time this is going up, but we just got a black kitty, and her name is Gemma. This is really good. This is vanilla pumpkin marshmallow cupcakes at Tiffany's. I don't know how I want to chop it. So we just got her. Her name is Gemma. She's been home with us for like 2 weeks at this point of me filming this video. So not a very long time at all. She has her first vet appointment on Tuesday. So wish her good luck. This might go up after Tuesday, but she just has a little checkup with our regular vet to kind of just make sure everything's going okay before we schedule like anything else. I think we have her spay to schedule coming up, but we haven't scheduled that yet. We just want to get her into our regular vet first. So we have her. This was a good question as well. It is, as I buy new warmers, what do I do with the old ones? And this is a real good question. I was gonna do a warmer tour, which I might actually film today, honestly. Because first of all, in the beginning, I would put like every single warmer I got out. But at the point I am now, I definitely ran out of space. And also recently, I don't know how this happened, but I started blowing some fuses because I had way too much plugged in. So basically Corey was like, do we really need all this stuff plugged in? Like, is there any way we could back this off so that this doesn't keep happening? And I was like, you know what, you're right. Like, I do have a lot plugged in. So I kind of set up, I took a lot away. I think I unplugged like 11 warmers or something. Like, that seems insane, but I literally unplugged so many warmers. The whole entire table and countertop was scattered with like warmers and, you know, cords and warmer stands and all this. I was like, oh my. So I do have one, which I'll show you my warmer tour. I have one that I left out in the main area because I think it's really pretty, but it's not plugged in and I don't put wax in it just because of the issue we've been having. So we have that one, but otherwise a lot of them I took upstairs to my office, my Scentsy room, and I just kind of have them on display. So in my recent videos, they're kind of like in the background behind me. A lot of them I have boxed up in like our spare bedroom in the closet. And I do have like some seasonal warmers in there as well. So it's kind of just like a catch-all. But I do have some warmers where I'm not that I'm like over them, but I just don't think I have a need for them anymore, and they're not like something I'm super attached to. So I do have those kind of in a pile. A lot of them aren't my Scentsy warmers, so I will probably just end up taking them to like my local Goodwill, just because they're like from Walmart, and I don't want to like throw them away because they're in good condition, but I don't want to like try to sell a $10 warmer. I'd feel better if I could drop it off at the Goodwill and somebody else who maybe doesn't have those luxuries in life could pick it up for a decent price and, you know, do it that way. Versus like me trying to make $10 off a $10 warmer. Like, that's dumb to me. I don't know. However, I do have some Scentsy warmers. I really only... OMG. I'm dropping stuff, obviously. I know, Gemma, I'm sorry. She's like, why are you being so loud? I'm trying to sleep. I do have some, I actually think I only have like one Scentsy warmer that I'm like a little bit ready to let go of. However, I don't exactly know, golly, that's quite intense. I don't exactly know what I'm gonna do with it yet because I don't know if I like know anybody who wants it. I don't know. I just kind of have it with the pile of the other ones. I haven't taken anything anywhere, and I don't know if I plan to include that one with the ones I take because I'm not I'm like, okay, I could probably get rid of it, but I'm not exactly ready to let it go, if you could tell. So it's just kind of sitting there. But at the current time, I have, for the most part, I have all of them. A lot of my Walmart ones, if they've like deteriorated and they don't work very well anymore, I just got rid of them. Like, I'm not gonna save those for no reason. But I do have quite a few Walmart ones that I do think they work, but they're not something that I'm like actively wanting to use or have in my stash of warmers. But I will say, one thing that I definitely want to start doing is I kind of want to make an inventory of all my warmers and kind of decide when like the best time would be to put them all out and kind of work on like a schedule of rotating them all, because I love them all, but I feel like I just leave certain ones out and then the others don't get enough love. So I really want to work on rotating through my collection, if that makes sense. That was kind of a long-winded answer. I'm sure at some point I will start like to destash or get rid of things, but I feel like I'm still fairly new to all of it, that I'm not like super ready to part with anything quite yet, if that makes sense. Maybe in 6 more months I might be like, oh my god, okay, I can't stand these warmers anymore. I need to move on. But I feel like a lot of them I have just like an attachment to. That sounds so crazy, but you know, I'm like, I can't get rid of you quite yet. Oh my gosh, the next one's favorite food. This one was also kind of hard, but I tried to not overthink it like the other ones. And I think I'm gonna have to go with either tacos, because I was like, what could I honestly eat like every day if I had to? That's kind of dramatic, but I was like, what is like the one thing, you know, not just like what am I craving today, but what am I truly like always down for? And I would probably say tacos. Generally, I feel like it's really hard to mess up a taco, and there's so many different like types of taco. Like you kind of turn it into maybe, you know, like an enchilada or like hard shell or soft shell, or maybe that's cheating, but I'm just saying I feel like they're a versatile food maybe. Breakfast burrito, that might be a stretch. But I would say tacos. And then if I had to have a backup, I wrote down taverns. And I know a lot of people say this different in different parts of the country, so if you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about, kind of like a sloppy joe or like a loose meat sandwich, basically like browned hamburger with like barbecue sauce, ketchup, mustard, all that mixed in, and then you put it on a bun. We call them taverns, we always have, so I know some people do not call them taverns, and when you say tavern, they're like, I have no, are you talking about like the local pub? And I'm like, no, like a tavern on a bun. So just wanted to clarify. The next one is, do I like to read, and do I have any book recommendations? I do like to read, however, I have not been doing very good with reading. During the beginning of quarantine, okay, probably like right before the beginning of quarantine, maybe a little bit before, we got library cards, and it was before I had my YouTube channel, so I feel like I had a lot of extra time on my hands because I was like, Corey had school, and so I just kind of had extra time to do whatever. So we got library cards. This might have even been almost either right when we moved in together or when we still lived separate. So it's been quite a while. But we got those, and literally I religiously like went to the library. And then a few months later, I am so glad to chop him. I really don't like, he's just too scary for me. Sorry. So I'm happily gonna chop him in half. This one's good. This one was in the restock, but it's already sold out. It's from Rose Girls. I didn't pick it up. So I like religiously would go to the library, but then when COVID happened, I was like devastated because I was like, we can't go to the library. But I downloaded like a through my library, we have like an app thing you can get. So I downloaded that. I was reading like a ton of books on there. I don't even know what they were. I'm going to have to like look back into my history. There were a ton of romance. I'm like a big romance book person. I'll just be honest. I've tried to get a little bit into like cozy mysteries because I think that would be something I really enjoy. But I really love book reading, but just lately I've not been the slightest inclined. Like, I've been so busy doing all this other stuff, like planning the wedding, and my work has been insanely busy, and then we got Gemma, and I've been trying to do YouTube, and I'm trying to do Scentsy. Like, I feel like I have so many other priorities that I have not picked up a book at all. And I have gone to the library a few times, but it's almost like, because our libraries are back open now, which I love, because I love the feel of a book in your hands versus like a electronic thing. But I don't know. I'm hopefully, if we like travel, I like to bring books as well, because then I can like read on the plane, read while we're traveling in the car. But of course we haven't done any of that either. So like, yeah, sorry. If you have any good book recommendations, leave them down below. And maybe leave like what kind of genre they're in as well, so that we can all get some recommendations. I also tried audiobooks for a bit, but I think I prefer having the book in my hands more. So, I'm going to chop up these Swan Creek herbal melts. I'm just going to like chop them because they're so big. If you're like, what are you doing? Those are clams. That's what we're doing. And I've never popped these out, so I don't really, ooh, golly, that was not, it smells good. It's not what I was expecting to happen. Okay. Favorite Scentsy product that's not wax? This was a hard question because I love all Scentsy products. So this was a hard one. And I think the answer, these are very soft. Oh my, I don't know if these are just warm, but they're very, very soft. I think the answer I'm gonna have to go with is the pod system. I absolutely love the pod system, and I think why I picked that as my favorite product from Scentsy. Oh, first of all, obviously after wax and warmers. Like she said, not wax. And I feel like warmers kind of goes along with wax, because obviously I started with the wax that I was obsessed with, but then I really got into warmers, and I'm still kind of really into warmers. But wax and warmers aside, I would say the pod system. And I think I like the pod system so much because it's so different from yikes. Because it's, oh geez Louise, it's so different from any other company. Maybe I don't want to chop these. I'm gonna try one more, and if it doesn't go well, I'm not gonna chop these. Oh my Lanta. Okay. I don't think I'm gonna chop these. I'm just gonna have to put them in my, I don't even know what. These are not gonna, they're just crumbling everywhere. Oh my word. Okay, clearly I've never used these before. Can you tell? Well, okay. I was not prepared for that. What is the question? My favorite non-wax Scentsy product, I would say the pod system, because honestly, no other company has that kind of technology, and I think it's so cool. Like, you can get an air freshener from anywhere. You can get laundry products at Walmart. Like, I considered those things, but I was like, if they didn't exist, like if Scentsy didn't have laundry, would it be the end of the world? Like, I could get laundry elsewhere. I can't get the pods anywhere else. And I think the like Scentsy Go system itself, not even including like the wall fans, the mini fans, the air purifier. Like there's obviously a ton of different ways to use them. I think just the Scentsy Go alone is so cool. Like I just love the pods, and I love that they're definitely not wax. Like they're not gonna scent your home the way wax would scent your home, but I love them in the way that you can knock them right out of the wall or throw them on the ground or drop them or whatever, and that's fine. Like they're so functional, I guess. I really like the pods. So I've really gotten into, I use them in multiple different ways. I have my Scentsy Go, I have the air purifier, and I have 2 wall fans. And then I do have a mini fan that I have been plugging in the kitchen with the squeeze the day pods if we cook something that's like a little bit questionable, and it kind of like gets that out of the air. So there's some uses for you. I'm going to show you these last 2 I'm going to chop, and then I'm going to continue to go through the questions. So we have Teddy B's Frankish Princess, and I kind of saved these for the fall, Witches Be Crazy, also from Teddy B's. And these are my last 2. Like I said, I didn't have a ton to chop, but I just wanted to more so chat, you know? And I knew I had to do that loaf. I don't know. Wanted to do that loaf. I was like, what is this? It has blackberry jam butter cookies. That's what I'm smelling. I was like, I thought this was a bakery blend. Yeah, it's like bakery plus blackberry jam butter cookies, which to me smells like blue raspberry, like a blue raspberry slushy. It's so much under my nails. Ugh. Okay, new vendors at the top of my list to try. So I have, like, I think I said this in a recent video, but I haven't been doing a lot of vendor wax buying, to be honest. But if I had vendors at the top of my list to check out, I definitely want to check out Brita's. That's one that I've like very closely had my eye on, but every time they restock, I'm like, oh, I need to reduce my stash. I'm out of money. Like, you know, it seems like it's never a good time when they happen to restock. So I haven't done Brita's yet, but I do like how if you go to Brita's Instagram, it's Brita's Creepy Treasures. They have posted kind of like their full year tentative schedule when they think they're gonna do things, and I think that's so awesome because they kind of go through every category, like clean, masculine, bakery, coffee, spice, I don't know, but they like list it all out, and then they tell you kind of what section of the year they're gonna work on that stuff. So if you're like, oh, I am really interested in the bakery order, I know I don't need to order for a few months because they're not gonna do it. Like I don't need to stock the page, they're not gonna do it for a while. I really appreciate that because as a consumer, and I know companies do this to just create FOMO, like they don't want you to know things in advance, but it's like sometimes people post the list or what's available so close to when it's available, Scentsy included, that it's like, oh, dang, well, I wish I would have known about that before payday, and so I could have like planned on it, you know what I mean? So I totally get it because it's, like I said, it's used to create FOMO, it's used to create urgency, like you gotta buy it now or you're gonna miss out. I totally understand. But I do really appreciate that about Brita's. And it's not like a set timeline, like, oh, they said August 3rd, it's gonna be August 3rd. It's more of just a generalized timeline. But for them to post that at the beginning of the year, for the whole entire year, and obviously they update it as needed, that's so nice and thoughtful for your consumers, as opposed to just being like, we'll get to it when we get to it. And we'll post it when we want to post it. I don't know. But also, K's is another one I'd really like to try. But also, every time I go to the K's website, I get extremely overwhelmed by all of the options available. So I typically just click right back off the website because K's is pretty much open all the time, I'm pretty sure. I'm making quite the mess. Pretty sure K's is open for the most part all the time, including like customs and stuff. But the website completely overwhelms me. So I go onto it because I hear people talking about it, and then the same exact thing every time. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna order from Kay's, and then I go to the website and I get overwhelmed and I just click right off the website. So do you have any specific, I would love to get some customs, but I'm like not a very custom, like there's so many choices on there. It's not like like I've done customs with the melted mousse, but I feel like on Kay's there's just so many options that I don't even know where to start. So if you have some that you would recommend, leave those down below. Just say Kay's recommendation and then tell me what it would be. So those are like the two I really have my eye on. The very first, this is a good one. Very first vendor wax I purchased, not Scentsy. So I believe I've told this story maybe in my first Chop and Chat, maybe. But I originally, when I got into wax, I had been watching a ton of wax videos, and kind of the first two vendors or people I heard talking about were Scentsy and the melted mousse. So I had kind of been like checking them out, and I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna take the plunge and place an order. So what I did first was at the store, I told Corey, I was like, I don't know, I kind of like want to try out this new thing. It's like melting wax. And so I'm going to get a full-size wax warmer from Walmart and a mini, and I'm going to pick out a scent. And I was like, and you can pick out a scent too. Like, we can kind of try it out together. Do we like this or do we not? Because basically my thought was, I'm not going to buy these expensive, because at the time I was like, these warmers are so expensive. Like, what? I don't get the hype, you know? I was like, I'm not going to buy these expensive warmers if I don't even know if I like the aspect of like warming wax and soaking it up with a cotton ball and like having to, like, you know, I was only used to candles, so I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't want to like totally dive in without having any like base knowledge. So we got the stuff from Walmart. We even got like the Mainstays 93 cent wax, because I was like, I want to spend as little money as possible. We got a $15 warmer from Walmart, and I think the mini was like less than $10. So we really spent like hardly any money. Just try it out. Corey got the scent Papaya Passion, which he still to this day would probably pick out blind because he loves those types of scents. And I got Hazelnut Cream because it's kind of like a mix of like a coffee. Oh, and I maybe got Apple Cider Donuts too, because that one was also a really good one, and I had that early on. I don't know if that was the first one. I think I only got Hazelnut Cream for some reason. So we got those, we enjoyed it, like everything went fine. I wasn't like, okay, this isn't like a huge hassle, or like, you know, it scented our apartment fairly nicely. I mean, for 93 cent wax, so we enjoyed it. So I took the plunge. I think I made a Scentsy club, but it didn't like process until the 27th. So I think that was a technical first order I placed. And then while my club was about to ship, I think I placed another Scentsy order because they had a different collection came out, and I placed an order for a warmer that was in the clearance section. I like bundled that all together. And it was like a day before or the day after my club was gonna process, so it was kind of like right in a row. But then I think also in that time frame, after I created my club, but before I placed the other Scentsy order, I placed an order from the melted mousse, and that actually got to me first, I believe. So that was kind of my first experience, and first vendor was the melted mousse, even though I technically like got those other ones. I placed them first, and I got the Walmart ones to start with, but the first one that made it to me was the melted mousse, I believe. So they were my first vendor, and I still love them to this day. Like, I totally stand by them. So here's all the miscellaneous wax I collected. I'll probably throw this. It kind of smells like a lot of caramel apple because of those Swan Creek ones. I'm gonna throw this into my warmer, into my centerpiece, because it has plenty of room left for the day. So, Krista asked how wedding planning is going, and she also said happy wedding month, and happy wedding month to you as well, Krista. Yours is closer than mine, so I hope you're doing well. I'm gonna adjust the camera a little bit because I am done shopping, but I want to finish answering the questions. So, it's going. I'm starting to get to the point where I'm like, oh my God, this is really happening, and I'm a little bit feeling overwhelmed. But honestly, I have to keep reminding myself at the end of the day, like, I'm very much like a planner, and I want everything to be like 1, 2, 3, ABC. Like, I'm very much that way. And I think just like my job being an admin and everything, like, kind of reinforces that. Like, I never have to just let stuff go with the flow. I'm very much planner, type A, whatever you want to call it. So it's kind of becoming very, not overwhelming, but like, oh my God, it's happening type of moment. So I'm getting close to the end, but there's definitely some things I need to like tie off and get figured out. And like Corey keeps telling me, it will be fine. If we're both there, nothing else really matters. So I need to keep that in mind. But yes, I'm starting to get a little bit antsy, nervous, etc. So, as you can maybe tell, like, it just makes me like, a couple questions about how Gemma was doing and adjusting to the home. So, also I know in the video there was a couple questions around like Gemma's name and the spelling of it. It is Gemma with a J, so Jemma. And so we just like found that online. Her name was June, and we didn't love the name June because the litter, there was 9 of them, and they just named them like January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. And we didn't love that. I mean, June's okay. It's not like August. But I was like, I don't love it. So we've been calling her Gemma June as like her middle name, I guess. So she kind of kept it, but we just wanted to be something different, and we really liked Gemma. So Gemma is doing very, very well. She's beginning to scratch like a little bit more the last couple days. I don't know if just like her nails are growing out a little bit longer and she just needs to like, you know, do the thing. I don't know. So we're getting used to that. But I think she just wants to play. Right now she's napping, which is really good. We kind of worked on her harness training a little bit this morning, and she did really, really good with it. At first she was a little bit like rocky, like, you know, like rolling over kind of, but she picked up on it right away. Like, she was going back and forth in the house. So we'll probably try to work on that a little more, but she was doing really, really good with it. But otherwise she's adjusting really well. She's been out on her own. Originally we had her in the bathroom just kind of like to seclude her and not like overwhelm her with the whole house. But at this point she pretty much has run of the whole house, and she's doing really well with it. She is learning like, where am I supposed to be, where am I not supposed to be. Like, she tried to get on the table a few times. We really tried to like work with her on that, and now she's doing really good with it. So I think she's adjusting really well. But like I said, it's only been 2 weeks, so we have plenty of time to continue to work on things. But it's going well, and I really love her. What got me started with wax? I'm sure I addressed this before in a video in the past, but just a brief overview. I've generally always, probably since I've moved out of my parents' house, so when I was 18, when I was 19 maybe, like a while ago, I have always had like candles and wallflowers. And basically during lockdown, I was watching a ton of YouTube about like candles, because I was really getting more into candles once me and Corey moved in together, because I was like, I really want our space to smell good together, versus when it was just me. Like, I don't know, I was more into like makeup when I lived by myself, and I had like time to like sit by myself and like do makeup things. But But once we moved in together, I kind of got away from that just because I felt like I wanted to do things with him, like we were together now. It wasn't like I was sitting at my apartment alone. So I really got into like home fragrance when we had moved in together, which was kind of, we moved in like in September 2019. So maybe like, you know, lockdown was obviously like March, April, May, June, July through today. Like it kind of really never ended, but kind of in that time frame, like the May, June, July, August, like I really had gotten into like Bath and Body Works and candles and home fragrance. So I was watching a lot about that. And naturally, some of those people just also talk about wax. So I think I found Mr. Kong's mom, and then I found Lisa Roberry. And so the rest is history. Like once you start watching Mr. Kong's mom and Lisa Roberry, your home fragrance. Like if you either like it or you don't, you either connect to them or you don't, and I fell in the trap. So here I am. This was a hard question. It was, if I could only burn one candle from Bath and Body Works for the rest of time, what would it be? And I'm gonna sound like the most basic person ever, but I think I'm gonna go with Vanilla Bean Noel. Don't hate me, but it's just the most perfect vanilla scent, and it's good for all year, even though it's called Vanilla Bean Noel. Also though, don't burn Vanilla Bean Noel. Like it's so much better melted. Vanilla-based scents generally, first of all candles are better melted. Like you don't have that kerosene scent and all that anyway. But specifically Vanilla Bean Noel, it's not like a super strong performer until like you get it melting, get it in the candle crock, those types of things. Like it really excels in those types of situations. So Vanilla Bean Buttercream, oh my God, Vanilla Bean Noel, and don't burn it. That's my answer. The last question, sorry, I got an email on my computer. What do I use to film and edit? This person wants to start their own channel, and 100% I recommend starting your own channel. And don't wait until it feels right. Like you're never gonna be satisfied. Like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to start. Gotta finish up since the washer's done. But what do I use to film and edit? I just use my phone. I really don't edit a whole lot, as you can maybe tell from my channel. I generally just film a take and I upload the video. But when I like put together my vlogs and stuff like that, I just use iMovie on my iPhone. So you don't even need any, if you have a phone, you are pretty much set. Like you really don't need any equipment. You can upload to YouTube right from your phone. I don't think you can edit videos on your phone on the YouTube. Like I don't know how that works. Maybe you can do it on an iPad, for sure a computer. I think YouTube has like some type of software. Don't quote me on that. But also, depending what you're doing, I don't really feel like you need to really edit your videos. I mean, especially if you're talking about like this type of stuff. If you were doing like makeup videos or like something you're trying to speed up, I get that. But if you're doing things where you like need to make cuts, you know, and like show this, then show this, then show this, great. But also if you're like just sitting here talking, I don't feel like you really need to edit things, because then it's just all like choppy of you editing. And it really took me a long time to get to this. I used to be so critical of myself and like edit out every I said and stuff. And I was just like, I'm wasting so much time editing out my ums to make it seem like I don't say them when I do. Like, it's not a big deal. So I have really gotten away from that. I just go for it. And now I watch other people who also just do a single take and upload, who also don't edit, and I feel like that's taken a ton of pressure off me as well. So yeah, I think go for it. You really don't need much. If you have a Google account, you have a YouTube account. So I'm all here for it. Comment down below when you make it, because I'll check out your videos. Like, I'll watch them. So if you need a person of support, because really, I did YouTube and then I really got away from it. And then once me and Corey once we moved in, kind of once I got more into like Bath and Body Works and stuff, I was like, I really want to start up my YouTube channel, but I was scared to death to tell him. But also I was like, we live together, so it can't really be a secret, because how am I gonna like secretly do that on my own? You know what I mean? So I was just like scared to death, and I like for multiple days in a row was like, I don't know how I'm gonna tell him, I don't know how I'm gonna tell him, and I finally did. And I think at first he was like, I don't really know what you're talking about, because he like YouTube wasn't really on his radar, but in the end he was like, sure, like if that's what you want to do, I'll support you. So I was like, awesome, like I'm going right into the apartment to film a video right now. Like I think I was putting more pressure on myself about what he would think than actually like just telling him it's what I wanted to do. And like, did he have any concerns about it, I guess? Like, you know, would it bother him if I did it in the apartment while he was there? But he was really cool about it. If I was like, hey, I'm gonna go film a video, even to this day. I mean, he's way more supportive now because obviously he's involved in my channel a little bit. But I would just be like, hey, like, can I go film a video tonight? And he's like, yeah, I'll like sit out here and watch TV if you want to use the bedroom and stuff, because we lived in an apartment. So I think just, you know, talk to your support system if you're like a little bit nervous, but also if you'd rather do it on your own and like not tell anybody. That was me in the beginning too, so do that as well. But you don't need any fancy equipment. Like, you don't even need like lighting. Like if you have windows or if you have light bulbs and you have a phone and a Google account, like you're set. You have all the equipment you need. So sorry this got a little long and I really haven't been doing chopping because I'm finished, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for all the questions. I really appreciate it. I got way more than I was expecting. So thank you very much. I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully next month's will be live at the end of October. So we'll see. Thanks so much. See you guys later. Bye.